Have you ever felt like you were losing the battle before it even began? Have you wondered why, no matter how hard you try, you keep ending up in the same place, tired, broke, distracted, and unheard? Do you feel like the world is crushing you when deep down you know the real enemy is not out there, but inside of you? Listen carefully. Most men are not defeated by armies, rivals, or enemies. They are defeated by themselves long before the first blow is struck. They fall into 4 traps that bleed them dry: the mouth, the mind, the mood, and the money. The mouth runs reckless, spilling secrets, promises, and weaknesses. One careless sentence destroys alliances, ruins opportunities, and arms enemies with your own words. The mind drifts into fog, obsessing over regrets of yesterday and fantasies of tomorrow. Without discipline, the sharpest mind becomes an executioner. The mood swings wild anger, envy, despair. Emotions become chains that pull men where others want them to go. And the money, it vanishes into vanity, addictions, and empty pleasures, enslaving men to debt, dependence, and desperation. This is why so many remain powerless. Not because they are weak, but because they are ruled by what they should rule. They worship impulses. They kneel before distraction. They serve desires that devour them. But you are here because you know softness is fatal. You feel the pull inside your chest, the hunger to rise above the herd, to break free from invisible chains, to master yourself before you dare master anything else. This is your initiation. This is where the forge begins. Comment these words right now: control is power. Stamp it as your oath. Write it, own it, breathe it. And if this truth cuts deep, subscribe and join this fortress, because this is just the beginning. The 4 traps are waiting, and only the disciplined will escape them. Do you ever feel like your own thoughts are betraying you? How many nights have you laid awake replaying mistakes from years ago? How often do you drift into fantasies of a tomorrow that never comes, while the present slips through your fingers? Most men are prisoners of their own minds. They drown in overthinking, regrets, and illusions. Their mental energy, meant to be a weapon, turns inward and becomes a blade cutting them down. The truth is brutal. The mind can either be your greatest general or your most ruthless executioner. Think about it. A soldier without command runs wild. An army without discipline collapses. Your thoughts are no different. Without control, they scatter like drunken soldiers, chasing distractions, obsessing over enemies that don't matter, surrendering to fears that never come true. And every wasted thought is a brick stolen from the empire you could be building. The secret is this: you cannot stop the storm of thoughts, but you can decide which winds steer your ship. Not every idea deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves your energy. You must become cold and selective. Ask yourself, does this thought build me or does it weaken me? If it weakens, cut it down without mercy. Feed your mind with strategy, not noise. Study history. Study power. Study human nature. Replace gossip with wisdom. Replace doubt with discipline. When you choose your thoughts like a ruler chooses his advisors, your life stops being chaos, it becomes a campaign. Write this in the comments right now: my mind obeys me. Etch it as your vow, because the man who commands his mind commands his destiny. And if this strikes something deep inside, you subscribe now. This is your training ground, your fortress of discipline. Stay with me, because the next battlefield is even closer to your tongue, the mouth. And it has ruined more men than any enemy ever could. Have you ever felt exposed, like the whole world could see your weakness? Have you ever shared your true feelings only to have them used against you? Have you ever walked into a room and realized that people judged you before you even opened your mouth? How many times have you been underestimated, mocked, or dismissed because you showed too much of yourself? This is why most men stay powerless. They believe authenticity means revealing everything. They think being real means bleeding their soul in public. But here's the truth: a man without a mask is a man without armor. The world does not reward raw honesty, it punishes it. Power is not just about what you are, it is about what you appear to be. People judge with their eyes, not with their reason. They are drawn to surfaces, not substance. And that is why the mask is a weapon. The mask protects you. It hides your doubts, your fatigue, your ambitions. It allows you to choose what others see while your true self remains untouchable in the vault of your mind. With the right mask, you can appear humble to disarm envy, kind to win loyalty, harmless to lower defenses, or ruthless to create fear. The weak scoff at this and call it deception, but the strong know it is strategy. Even history's greatest rulers wore masks. Caesar appeared a servant of Rome while plotting dominion. Napoleon appeared humble while calculating conquest. They all understood power flows not just from the sword, but from the performance. From this day forward, you must craft your mask with precision. Outwardly calm, inwardly ruthless. Outwardly simple, inwardly calculating. Outwardly approachable, inwardly untouchable. Write this in the comments, my mask is my weapon. Let it be your oath, because the man who controls appearances controls how the world treats him. And if this truth cuts into you, subscribe now. Join this fortress. Because next we dive into cold psychology, the dark undercurrent that explains why people obey, betray, and break. Miss that lesson and you'll always be a pawn in someone else's game. Have you ever relied on someone's love only to watch it fade overnight? Have you ever been loyal to people who swore they'd never leave yet? The moment life got hard, they vanished. Have you ever given your heart, your trust, your effort, only to realize that love is fragile, inconsistent, and conditional? Most men build their lives on the illusion that love will protect them. They think loyalty will last forever. They think people will choose them over opportunity, over greed, over fear. And every time reality crushes them, because love is emotional, love shifts with moods, love fades with time, fear does not. Fear is constant. Fear builds boundaries where love collapses. Fear ensures respect when affection disappears. That is why Machiavelli wrote, "It is safer to be feared than loved." He understood the brutal truth: when people love you, they may still betray you. When they fear you, betrayal comes with a price too high to pay. This is the cold psychology of power. Stop expecting loyalty built on feelings. Stop clinging to fragile affection. Instead, cultivate presence, an aura that forces calculation in anyone who thinks of crossing you. When people look at you and think, "If I betray him, I will suffer," then you are no longer at their mercy. You are untouchable. This does not mean cruelty for its own sake. It means discipline. It means building systems where betrayal is costly and respect is non-negotiable. Love can inspire loyalty, but fear guarantees it. Write this vow in the comments: fear secures respect. Let the herd chase affection. You will build a fortress of calculation. And if this truth feels like a blade, cutting away illusions, subscribe now. Join this fortress of discipline. Because in the next chapter, we will strip away another illusion: morality. You'll learn why every man is selfish and how to turn that selfishness into your weapon. How many times have you believed someone's promise only to watch them walk away when something better came along? How often have you helped sacrifice or bent over backward for others, yet the moment you needed them, they vanished? Have you ever wondered why people preach loyalty, fairness, or morality, but act out of pure self-interest when the stakes are real? This is the truth most men cannot bear. Every human being is selfish. Every action, no matter how noble it appears, serves an interest. People donate for recognition. They help for leverage. They smile for advantage. Strip away the mask and what remains is the selfish core. The weak man refuses to accept this. He clings to illusions of fairness, begging for loyalty, expecting gratitude. And every time he is disappointed, he becomes easy prey because he lives in a fantasy where people do the right thing. But the right thing for them is always what benefits them most. The strong man, however, understands this brutal law. He stops being surprised. He stops being naive. He asks one question in every negotiation, every relationship, every alliance: what does this person want, and how can I make their desires serve me? That is the art of power: to channel selfishness, not resist it, to align other people's hunger with your strategy. This is not cynicism, it is clarity. Once you accept that everyone is selfish, you stop bleeding energy on false expectations. You stop crying over broken promises. You start designing deal structures and systems where their gain fuels your gain. Write this vow in the comments: every man has a price. Etch it into your mind, because once you see through the illusion of morality, Betrayal will never shock you again. You will be prepared. You will be untouchable. And if this lesson strikes deep, subscribe now. Join this fortress of discipline, because in the next chapter you'll discover the most dangerous lever of all emotion: rage, greed, envy, lust. Learn to control them, and you can puppeteer entire crowds. How many times have you lost everything because you reacted too quickly? Have you ever sent a message in anger that you regretted the second it was delivered? Have you ever been so jealous, so desperate, so blinded by emotion that you made decisions that cost you opportunities, respect, even relationships? This is the battlefield most men never master. Emotions are levers, and whoever controls the lever controls the man. Rage makes men predictable. Lust makes them reckless. Greed makes them blind. Fear makes them obedient. Entire empires have collapsed because powerful men failed to master their emotions. Think about it. A manipulator doesn't need to be stronger than you. He only needs to make you angry enough to lash out, jealous enough to lose focus, desperate enough to settle for less. Once he triggers your feelings, your choices no longer belong to you, they belong to him. But the untouchable man is different. He feels, but he does not react. He recognizes anger rising in his chest and he chains it until the right moment. He notices fear creeping into his gut and he converts it into caution instead of paralysis. He sees greed and he sharpens it into strategy instead of self-destruction. To the world, he is unreadable, unshakable, immovable. This is your task: become the one who pulls the levers, not the one controlled by them. Learn how to spark emotion in others while staying calm yourself. Watch how easily crowds are moved by fear or envy, and realize how much power belongs to the one who remains still while everyone else burns. Write this in the comments right now: I am unreadable. Make it your vow. Because the man who cannot be provoked cannot be controlled. And if this lesson cuts close, subscribe now. Stay inside this fortress, because next we enter the discipline of isolation, the place where strategy is forged and where men transform from prey into predators. How many times have you surrounded yourself with people yet still felt completely alone? How often have you drowned your silence with noise music, scrolling endless chatter because you were afraid of facing your own thoughts? Have you ever realized that the very people you keep close are the ones keeping you weak, draining your focus and stealing the hours you'll never get back? This is the truth most men run from. They fear solitude because solitude reveals the truth about who they really are, and that truth terrifies them. So they hide in crowds, numb themselves with distractions, and call it living. But in reality, they are escaping. Isolation is not loneliness. Isolation is the forge. It is where steel is sharpened, where clarity is born, where strategy takes form. Every man who has ever risen above the herd has mastered the discipline of pulling away. Caesar had his chambers. Napoleon had his tent. Every general, every visionary, every ruler has had a fortress of silence. When you learn to sit alone, you stop depending on the noise of others. When you embrace solitude, you start hearing the only voice that matters, your own. In the quiet, you measure your strengths and weaknesses honestly. You confront the desires that enslave you. You plan moves that no one else can anticipate. But remember, this is not permanent withdrawal. You isolate to sharpen, and then you return to the battlefield with precision. The herd wastes themselves in gossip and panic. You, by stepping back, see patterns they cannot. You become the one who shapes their chaos instead of drowning in it. Write it now in the comments: my isolation builds my empire. Make it your creed. Because the man who cannot stand alone will never stand above. And if this speaks to you, subscribe now. Join this fortress of discipline, because in the next chapter we move from silence to action strategy, the architecture of power that decides who wins before the first strike is made. How many times have you rushed into something only to realize too late that you were walking into a trap? How often have you reacted to life instead of designing it, scrambling from one crisis to the next with no plan? Have you ever watched someone weaker than you win, not because they were stronger, but because they were smarter, more prepared, more strategic? This is the painful truth: most men lose long before the fight begins. They confuse movement with progress, noise with results, speed with victory. They charge blindly, driven by impulse, and wonder why they keep ending up broken. The untouchable man does not live this way. He understands the oldest law of war: the general wins before the first strike. Strategy is the architecture of power. It is the difference between survival and dominance. It's the map that guides every dollar, every word, every alliance, every step. Without it, you drift like a leaf in the wind, pushed by luck, pulled by other people's plans. With it, you shape fortune itself. To be strategic, you must first be brutally honest. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What resources do you command? What enemies exist and which allies can be used, and for how long? Do not lie to yourself. A man who flatters himself is already defeated. Then design your moves like a chessboard. Anticipate 10 steps ahead. Calculate not just the battle, but the terrain, the timing, the morale. Life is not a series of random events, it is a campaign. And only the strategist survives the flood when fortune shifts. Write this vow in the comments. Strategy is my power. Make it your oath. Because when you learn to plan, you stop reacting, you start ruling. And if this resonates, subscribe now. Join this fortress of discipline. Because the next chapter will reveal the moment of transformation when every skill you've built begins to merge into something far greater, the making of an untouchable man. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you were living as a shadow of the man you were meant to be? Have you ever carried the weight of wasted years, talking too much, thinking too little? Losing control of your emotions and bleeding your money into empty pleasures? Have you ever wondered if change is even possible, or if you're doomed to stay the same until the end? Here's the truth: most men never transform. They patch holes in their sinking ship instead of building a new vessel. They chase hacks, tricks, and quick fixes, never realizing that real transformation is not about improvement. It is about rebirth. Transformation begins when all the lessons collide. When your mouth obeys discipline, your mind follows command, your moods bend to your will, your money serves you, your mask protects you, your psychology sees through others, and your isolation sharpens your strategy. At that moment, something shifts. You stop being prey, you stop being reactive, you become untouchable. But transformation is painful. It requires killing the old self, the man addicted to approval, the man chained by weakness, the man who let impulse write his fate. To rise, you must bury him. You must choose to live differently, think differently, move differently. Outwardly calm, inwardly calculating. Outwardly modest, inwardly powerful. And here lies the paradox: when you transform, the world will resist. Friends will mock your discipline. Family will question your silence. The herd will try to pull you back into their comfort. Do not flinch. Their discomfort is proof that your transformation is real. Write this vow in the comments: discipline is my identity. Let it mark the death of the old self and the birth of the untouchable. And if this strikes you, subscribe now. Join this fortress of men who choose to rise. Because the next chapter will take you deeper into the quiet strength of true power, where silence commands more than noise ever could. Have you ever tried to prove yourself so loudly that it only made you look weaker? Have you ever bragged, shouted, or argued only to realize no one respected you more? They only pitied you. Have you ever noticed that the people who command the most respect are often the ones who speak the least? This is the paradox of power. The louder you try to prove it, the less of it you truly have. Weak men scream for attention. They flex on social media. They argue to be right, not to be effective. Their noise exposes insecurity, and predators smell insecurity like blood in the water. The untouchable man does the opposite. He knows that true power is quiet. He doesn't need to advertise his strength because it radiates without words. His silence unnerves. His calm presence commands attention. When he finally speaks, the room falls still because everyone knows those words carry weight. Quiet power is not passivity, it is precision. It is the choice to act only when it matters. The lion does not roar every hour. It waits, it stalks, and when it strikes, the jungle trembles. This transformation is about restraint. In moments of triumph, stay silent. Pride invites predators. In moments of anger, stay silent. Rage makes you predictable. In moments of despair, stay silent. Weakness exposed is weakness exploited. Every silence is not emptiness, it is strategy. The world will not understand this at first. They will mistake your calm for weakness. Let them. Underestimation is camouflage. Quiet power grows in the shadows until it is undeniable. Write this oath in the comments. Power radiates without words. Let it become your creed, because the man who masters silence becomes the man no one can control. And if this resonates with you, subscribe now. Stay inside this fortress, because in the next chapter comes the call to power, the moment you decide if you will remain prey or rise as the one who commands the game itself. Have you ever felt like life keeps pushing you into a corner, forcing you to play a role you never chose? Have you ever looked around and realized you're not commanding your life, you're being commanded? How many mornings have you woken up already exhausted, already behind, already trapped in a system that feeds on your weakness? Here is the truth. No one dares to say there is no neutral ground. Every single day you wake up, you are either the hunter or the hunted. You are either shaping reality or being shaped by it. You are either pulling the strings or dangling from them. Most men pretend there's a middle path. They think they can coast, but coasting is just drifting into slavery. The call to power is not about arrogance or tyranny. It is about refusing to kneel. It is about choosing discipline over distraction control, over impulse strength, over softness. It is about understanding that weakness is not just a flaw, it is fatal. This moment is your decision point. Will you stay another pawn in someone else's game, endlessly distracted, endlessly consumed, forgotten the moment you fall? Or will you rise as the player, the man who commands himself first, and by doing so commands the world around him? Power is not handed out. It is not a gift. It is built brick by brick, choice by choice, sacrifice by sacrifice. And the first brick is laid right here, the choice to answer the call. Write this vow in the comments. I answer the call to power. Let it be your contract with yourself, because once you declare it, there is no turning back. And if you feel this in your chest, if you know this message is for you, subscribe now. Join this fortress, because the next chapter will reveal the duality of true power, the balance between the fox and the lion, the kindness that hides the ruthlessness, the mask that leaves the world guessing while you move 3 steps ahead. Have you ever felt torn between who you are and who the world expects you to be? Have you ever been punished for being too kind and punished again for being too ruthless? Have you ever wondered why, no matter what you do, people will always label you, box you in, and demand that you play one role forever? This is why most men stay weak. They live chained to a single identity. They are either the nice guy who gets walked on or the tough guy who burns every bridge. Too much fox and you're dismissed as cunning but untrustworthy. Too much lion and you're respected for strength but predictable, easy to trap. Either way you lose. The untouchable man refuses to be chained. He embraces duality. Outwardly, he can be kind, approachable, disciplined. Inwardly, he is ruthless, calculating, prepared for war. Outwardly, he may smile. Inwardly, he is 3 moves ahead. Outwardly, he may extend his hand. Inwardly, he measures every relationship like a contract. What value does it bring, and when will it expire? This duality confuses the weak. They want to label you, are you good or evil, generous or selfish, humble or proud? The answer is simple. You are whatever the moment demands. You are fox when you need to slip through traps. You are lion when you need to crush resistance. Balance both and you rule. The weak man is one-dimensional. The untouchable man is unreadable. He is fluid, adaptable, and dangerous. He can shift mass without breaking principle because his only principle is control. Write this in the comments, I am fox and lion. Let it be your vow. Because power belongs to the man who can wear many faces while never being owned by any of them. And if this resonates with you, subscribe now. Join this fortress, because the final chapter is waiting, the legacy of the untouchable. What you build will outlive you or it will vanish with you. The choice is yours. Have you ever feared that you'll live your whole life only to be forgotten the moment you're gone? Have you ever felt the quiet terror that all your work, all your pain, all your sacrifices will vanish without leaving a mark? Have you ever asked yourself, will anyone remember me, or will I be just another name lost in the dust of time? This is the final battlefield legacy. Most men die twice, once in body and once when no one remembers them. They lived soft, they lived distracted, they lived without discipline, and when they left, the world did not notice. Their names faded, their lives meant nothing. But the untouchable man builds differently. He understands that every decision, every dollar, every discipline is not just for today, it is for tomorrow. His control of money secures independence that outlasts him. His mastery of moods creates stability that inspires others. His masks keep his enemies confused long after he is gone. His strategies echo in systems, alliances, and foundations that survive beyond his lifetime. Legacy is not about fame. Fame fades. Legacy is about structure. It's about building something that cannot be erased, a family fortified, a vision immortalized, a fortress of principles others continue to follow. This is your test. Will you live as another man who chased comfort, wasted time, and died unnoticed? Or will you carve yourself into iron, immovable, unforgettable, so that even when you are gone, your presence lingers like a shadow over every room you once entered? Write this vow in the comments: I will outlast myself. Etch it into your mind. Because the untouchable man does not just win today, he builds a legacy that tomorrow cannot destroy. And if this lesson burns inside, you subscribe now. Join this fortress of men choosing discipline over distraction, control over chaos. Because your story is not finished here. This is not the end. This is the beginning of the life you were meant to build.